What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. What an exciting time to be alive in crypto. Now, the market here over the past day or so, some interesting things have been going on. Wanted to go over some, updates that Quant has had. XDC have some Casper updates. Wanted to share with you guys. And some news, some narratives that I've definitely been paying attention to. Really, we want to continue to watch in the space as Bitcoin here right around 37,795 at the time of this video. Ethereum 2,600. It's really not where a lot of us maybe predicted where we would be even just 6 months ago, but here we are. We can only respond to where we are. And again, the big thing is just going to be paying attention to what is happening with the Ukraine and all the warmongering and the posturing over there. And of course, really paying attention to what's happening with the centralization of power. So let's kind of dig into that. I wanted to kind of present some information here before we get into specific crypto updates. I saw this, and if you're paying attention to what's happening in Canada, then you know here, of course, they are now looking at making some of those financial surveillance measures permanent. So if you're speaking out against anything up there in Canada, well, they are going to take away your ability to even use your money. So you see here, they're actually looking at the Emergency Act invoked by Canada's government, taking a turn for the worse as far as financial surveillance is concerned. So that's just the first step there. Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland said during a press conference that the government is reviewing making the surveillance over financial transactions brought by the act permanent. Now, I don't know about you, but being able to ramp up even more scrutiny of something like that in Canada is just another example of what could happen with definitely CBDCs. Now, here in the U.S., it could be a little different, and our system is not really, CBDC, stablecoins. It's very nascent and very beginning of everything. But this is definitely one of the concerns with CBDCs. Now, let's move on to this. I wanted to share this article, and I don't normally go on CNBC, but I like this headline here to just kind of ponder. Next Bitcoin bull run won't happen until end of 2024, says top crypto exchange co-founder. Now, this is from a few days ago, but this is the head of Huobi, I believe here. Yeah, Huobi co-founder says the next Bitcoin bull run may not begin until late 2024. So what if kind of what's happening right now in the market? What if we don't even see any kind of major alt run or major bull run again for another year or two? What are you going to do? What would you do? Let me know in the comments what you would do. Because, I don't know about you, but some of these projects we look at, watch long term, we have no choice but to look at it as a time to continue to accumulate more. And you see here as well, a mid-market wipeout. Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin believes another brutal winter may actually be great for crypto. So this article is basically saying that a lot of believers think that with the bull run speculation and mania, you're just attracting a lot of folks that may not be serious about the space. And so Vitalik, he is saying that the mass purge is actually good for the long-term health of the cryptoverse. It really just keeps flaky wild speculators away. Ones that, quote, they welcome the bear market because when there are those long periods of prices moving up by huge amounts like it does obviously make a lot of people happy, but it does tend to invite a lot of very short-term speculative attention. So really, during deep bear markets, that's when projects that have really good communities, that have good funding, that have overall solid use cases and really revenue streams, those are going to be the ones that survive. And obviously, those are the ones that we're going to be paying attention to on this channel. Smash the like button if you like paying attention to the ones that are going to be changing the future and hopefully making us all a lot closer to financial freedom, which I know is what a lot of you guys or gals wanting. It's like most of us, let's just be able to just live the life we want, and that's what we're all about on this channel, is using crypto and just waking others up to that. Now, let's talk about this because the big picture behind Russia's draft law for crypto regulations. Now, we talked about this before. Now, all of a sudden, Russia, they're wanting to legalize it and they're wanting to make it legal, or, they're going to want to make it part of their country. And that, it could be a two-edged sword, especially coming from a country like Russia. Now, you see here, a Russian government website reported that on February 18th, the Ministry of Finance submitted a draft law for the regulation of cryptocurrency to the government of the Russian Federation. However, the official release was quick to remind Russians that using crypto as a means of payment is still illegal. Rather, the draft law means to regulate crypto as an investment. But it's not all. Some proposed regulations include bringing exchanges under the control of a centralized body, identifying all clients, and only allowing crypto withdrawals, deposits through a bank account. Now, I'm going to tell you what else this is going to do. Also, here's the main thing, other than KYC and all that normal stuff that they do here. In Russia, they are wanting to limit who can even buy crypto and to what amount. The draft laws propose a crypto knowledge and risk test for all potential investors. The results will reportedly decide how much money they will be allowed to invest. Now, it's similar here in the U.S. You have different, you have to be an accredited investor with a certain net worth to be able to buy certain securities and investments. But essentially, the translation of the release stated, upon successful completion of testing, citizens can invest in digital currencies up to 600,000 rubles annually. So if you want to invest more than that, you can't, because guess what? You're not allowed. You're not an oligarch. You're not one of the top. If the test is not passed, then the maximum amount of investments will be limited to 50,000 rubles. That's more a lower level, peasant level. Qualified investors and legal entities will make transactions without restrictions. 600,000 rubles is around $7,600 max, while 50,000 rubles is around $638. Imagine them saying here in the U.S., nope, you cannot invest more than $638 every single year. Wow. How embarrassing. Putin, a good word for crypto. It's widely reported that Russia's Vladimir Putin is bullish on crypto and felt that Russia is well suited to the industry. Well, he wants that because the biggest threat that Russia had from a Russian point of view is that the United States and NATO countries control SWIFT. So he wants to be able to have his own system, and they've been working on that with powers like China, collaborating with China to build blockchain-backed payment rails that could rival and even honestly get around SWIFT. So of course he's going to be bullish on crypto, right? But he recognized they have competitive advantages there, especially in the so-called mining, because of all the surplus electricity and well-trained personnel in the country. It's important to pay attention to that. And the dialogue, really what's happening in the Ukraine right now, what if crypto is just all part of the play? Now, wanted to share some tweets here. It's just food for thought. This is on Twitter here, Jordy Plancy Alexander. I just want to share this thread because it really, again, just food for thought. Food for thought as we're talking about CBDCs, and we talk a lot about it on this channel because that is really tied and correlated to the actual utility infrastructure of the future. So let me just kind of share this, and let me know your thoughts on this. Just like 1 year ago, only a few of us were talking about imminent inflation, but now it's on every news story. Later this year, the new popular word will be stagflation. And if you are shuddering, don't. Next year it's going to be even scarier. 2023, 2024, word will be CBDC. Central banks and fiscal governments in 2022 onwards are in a tough binding of their own making. There are economic headwinds, but they won't be able to reduce rates because they're already at a zero lower bound already. It's going to only lead to more inflation. There has to be a release valve, and if it's not a traditional fiscal or monetary release to avoid recession, they're going to move to more extreme choices. Ultimately, currency devaluation will continue to play a key role as it lowers the cost of debt to both government and private individuals. Devaluation is also a politically more acceptable, digestible method because the savers that lose out can't see day to day what is happening, only when zoomed out. Sound familiar? Definitely is happening now, but ultimately, Currency devaluation will hurt the lower and middle classes the most, and that's where the next part comes in. Until now, the best to be done in this scenario is creative taxes that are redistributive. In the UK, they have a mansion tax in the last crisis to collect sums from people owning expensive houses as a one-off property tax. Now, Singapore has huge taxes on luxury car purchases. Now, this creativity on taxes can continue, but they are ultimately a game that the uber rich will adapt around. Enter CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies are slow to get approved, but as they are needed to fix an untenable situation, we will hear more and more and more about them. Listen, the fiat system that we've been here, even in the United States, at the end of the day, at the end of the road, all fiat is designed to become worthless at some point. Ultimately, technology adoption can accelerate when there is a big problem being met by it. The vaccine tech advancements that have been adopted in the last 2 years are staggering, and something similar will happen with CBDC because they will address the key question of our time: how to avoid recessions while avoiding inflation that rips apart the lower and middle classes. Whoever answers this question is the one who will survive politically against all the coming popular revolts. And here's why CBDCs increase the government toolkit that is otherwise empty. The money that can get created by central banks doesn't have to follow the same rules that normal fiat does. For example, negative interest rates have been ineffective at forcing spending, right? So what if your money is programmed though on your phone and you can't store it anywhere? What if you're given an airdrop of CBDC and it loses 1% a day until it disappears? You're going to be spending it quick, right? And that's what is happening with the CBDCs. That's one thing that could happen, and why we're going to see different new regulations continue to pop up. What if the government wants to force you to spend it to support a certain kind of business? They can program it so that there's only a certain number of whitelisted places that will even accept your specific CBDC airdrop, right? Now, we don't have to get into some political, really don't want, that's not the point of even bringing this up, but to really just point out to you that regardless of the politics, this is just food for thought with CBDCs, and imagine how, certain abuses could happen with it, right? Definitely worth. Now, moving on to this, in case you didn't see this about HBAR today, Elon Musk tweeting the HBAR symbol. Now, I know this is actually the symbol for Planck's constant, and if you don't know what that is, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's a mathematical equation, but I mean, come on now, Elon Musk, again, and I heard the point made today that, Elon Musk, why would he support, of course he's not going to support Bitcoin. It would only make sense for him to support a system that would be much more green because, he is all about all that. So definitely continue to pay attention to that. I believe he's tweeting about Hedera. I'm going to go with it. Now, let me show you this about Quant, and shout out to Tokenizer on Twitter here. He has actually just made a really good point that, basically how you get widespread adoption for something like Quant. You build a strong project out with real utility, and then you bring marketing and education to the masses. Most are doing it backwards, but Quant is doing it the right way. Now, Quant and partnering with King's College London, this was actually yesterday, they launched a beginner's guide to becoming a blockchain developer with Overledger, provides a foundational knowledge of blockchain. So
launching in collaboration with King's College London and FutureLearn. We saw a need for this course as
they launched a course, and let me actually show you this here, because I actually registered for the course. I was going to dig into it. Now, I'm not a coder. I don't know any coding, but I wanted to just learn. I'm always wanting to learn more about even how deep the tech works, how all this function, how it's going to be interconnected, specifically from a fintech standpoint. That's my day-to-day business anyway, and the clients that I interact with, and what most fascinates me. But you see here recently, they've creating a series of online courses with King's College to help millions of developers. Why this is important and why it's important to pay attention to. This is going to be what really helps facilitate the future of developers. Quant going after a younger, new cadre of developers, right? They're expecting to serve a market worth $40 billion by 2025. So They're putting everything together. It's going to provide students with a foundational knowledge of blockchain, distributed ledger tech, and practical experience of developing multi-distributed ledger applications. Currently, less than 1% of 27 million developers even understand the complexities of blockchain technology. That's a huge gap there. So with them going after that, though, of course, if they're familiar with quant, they're going to be more like, it's just going to be ubiquitous with the new layer of value in the internet. The course introduces developers to Overledger, the world's first blockchain agnostic API gateway. We know this, which enables them to write apps in a dozen different coding languages seamlessly across most blockchains. So we already know all this, what it does. Dr. Rook Riley, head of innovation, he co-created the course. So it's basically, they're saying, hey, this has a steep learning curve usually, but we want to pull all this together and show people how to make dApps and how gateways work and really how this is going to be built to connect multiple ledgers here. You see here how to interact with multiple distributed ledger technologies. They specifically mention Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP ledgers, plural. So that will be something to pay attention to. Again, something if you're interested in as well. I'll leave the link there to the course. It's actually even on the Quant website. But also this too, XDC. It seems a lot of exciting news for a lot of our utility projects we like to talk about. They are now, I guess, the official sponsor of DC United. Now, I know I've read some comments on Reddit that people weren't really excited about it, and the price isn't really going crazy. Listen, I get it, but look at what's going on right now in the world and just overall economically. XDC is one of those. I'm cool with it being at 5 cents for the next while. I'm just going to keep I view it as a chance for me to continue to accumulate more of it and several other assets. Honestly, I want to get as much of these assets as I can. So don't look at it as, oh no, they're just partnering with a sports team. I think this is exciting. I think it's cool, and it gets more mass exposure there. You see here, this is Billy Sebel, I believe. I forgot exactly what he does with XDC. I know he's definitely very important there. I've seen several webinars and videos with him, so he's definitely engaged, interacting with him. Shout out to him. This is really cool. I feel like this has been a very good thing to see happening and exciting to watch. And lastly, guys, here to kind of wrap this up, I know we talk about Casper as well in case you missed it, and this is honestly, I'm most excited about this. Finally, Casper is going to be available on your Ledger Nano. So if you've been getting Casper on like Gate.io or somewhere else, you can't store it. There's no cold storage available. So they are now going to be working with with Ledger. So that's awesome. Glad that that's going to be working. So that's all we got on this video, guys. Want to wrap this up for today. Just some updates here and just really great trends to be paying attention to. Appreciate every one of you guys stopping by. Don't forget, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. If you're watching to the end of this video, at least, hey, show me some love. Hit that like button. It helps spread the message out because, we're going to keep helping you pay attention and stay on top of these new cryptos that are going to lead us to financial freedom in the new future. So, again, appreciate all of you guys stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next video.